In this video, I'm going to be breaking down some design details behind some dope Code Geass posters to show that even the pros must follow basic rules of design to make a piece work. What's good, people? My name is Rich Smith Jr. and welcome to my channel, R.S.J. Creations. In this video series, I am going to show you how the pros approach design when it comes to making posters, images, and other, visual media. Basically, I'm going to do some Batman work / Sherlock Holmes work in deducing the thought processes behind the artists that make some of these dope artworks. So, and here's the thing, by adapting these techniques that I'm going to show you, you too can become a better artist / designer. Let's get started. Now, I'm going to tell you something that you've probably already been told before, but I'm going to break it down to you in smarter language. The word design, as worded in Design Basics by David A. Lauer and Steven Pintak. To design indeed means to plan, to organize. Design is inherent in the full range of art disciplines from painting and drawing to sculpture, photography, and time-based media such as film, video, computer graphics, and animation. Now, a lot of what I know about designing came from this book right here. And I recommend it to beginning artists and graphic designers to add to your libraries. I'll put a link down below where you can get a copy. And even if you're a seasoned pro and you just want to brush up on those skills, keep chiseling away at the skill set, then I definitely recommend this book right here. Spoiler warning, if you haven't watched Code Geass and want to, you might want to click off this video. I'm not going to give a whole lot of details about it, just what is relevant to the artworks that I'm going to show, but I might be revealing something here or there. Well, you've been warned. But I also do highly recommend this series. This is a very, very good series. I feel like it's one of those animes that makes you smarter from watching it. But let's begin. So Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion, or commonly referred to as just Code Geass, is a Japanese anime series produced by Sunrise. It was directed by, now I'm about to butcher the names here, Goro Taniguchi, sorry about that, and written by Ichiro Okitsuchi, with original character designs by Clamp, an all-female Japanese manga artist group. Safe to say that the images in this video are mostly made by them, so way to go, ladies, appreciate the work. But if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comment section below. Now, in the world of Code Geass, it's set in an alternative timeline. Basically, the British ruled the world more than what they actually did. But the series follows the exiled prince Lelouch v. Britannia, who obtains the power of absolute obedience from a mysterious woman named Cece. Using this supernatural power known as Geass, he leads a rebellion against the rule of the Holy Britannian Empire, commanding a series of mech battles and other crazy shenanigans. The images that I'm going to show you guys is related to the series, and I'm going to show you how they tie in. So if you have watched Code Geass, a lot of this is going to make sense. If you haven't, once again, I recommend you watch this show, then come back and watch this video. Let's get into it. Alright guys, time to get into the nitty gritty of it. So we have, with our first image, we have Lelouch, who is the main character. And we have this character over here, Cece, and we have my man's Suzaku. Suzaku is probably either my favorite character, because I really love Lelouch. He's one of those type of sophisticated, suave, very intelligent characters that can outsmart you several times over. But in the design itself, some of the things we're going to break down about the design that make it work. So first thing I noticed are these repeat shapes right here. Let me actually go ahead and grab the brush tool. So right here we see this shape right here, this shape, this shape, this shape, and this shape. All these weird red pearl eye looking things. So this is just, and even right in Suzaku's design right here. So now a lot of these images I'm about to show you aren't necessarily from the series itself. These are just, I would assume, are just images to sell the work, to make it look nice, just some eye candy for the fandom. But in the design itself, we see repeated shapes, repeated images to show some type of unity in the piece. So we see with Lelouch, he is the main character. We see that just the wardrobe, that how these characters dress, the white cloth, white is a color commonly associated with superiority, and darker colors, black, dark purples, dark reds, anything that's more, this is more of a subservient type of color. And we even see in Suzaku's posture that he's in a type of formal salute, while Lelouch is just laid up with this baddie over here. So that also just communicates, tells a story of the piece. And we see, pay attention to Lelouch's facial expression to also sell that whole thing of who's in charge and who leads and who serves, who is the rider and who is the horse. The little Bleach reference that I'm gonna throw in there. But we see that he has a sharp, we see the sharp lines in his face, kind of like just definitely drawing you into his whole expression. And we see this cocky type of this grin that he has here. Whereas Suzaku, his face seems more relaxed, just drawing lines over it, but his face seems more relaxed, kind of like waiting for his next orders, or maybe he might be coming in to deliver some news or whatever. So besides the facial expressions and the wardrobe signifying status, now here we have Cece. Now she is more of an accessory piece to Lelouch's success. So she's not wearing, she's kind of like, if you watch the anime, she's kind of like this weird alien type of chick. She has like the green hair, funky, spacey type of clothes. We see the body language, see this hand right here. She's laid up alongside Lelouch. This actually definitely feeds into his status. So moving on, we'll go to the next image, and I'm not drawing directly on top of this. This is some great work here. But also I just want to let you guys, just show you guys some, or draw your attention to other elements, such as the way that the artist who composed this tries to break up the squareness of the panel. I'm not sure exactly what the term is, I used to know, but it's adding circular elements to kind of like break up the formalness or the formal square shape pattern, or basically breaking beyond the boundaries. I think that might work in reverse, but I feel like this is just another way to kind of like bring you in by the use of these these crescent shapes. But this one right here, now this is definitely a way more simpler design. Now what I want to emphasize is focal point. So where we have this, the focal point I would say is Lelouch. So the focal point basically means that the designer, the artist, designed a piece so that all the elements serve to direct the viewer's eye in a certain direction. Now this one's very easy. If you can't see how easy this is, then I'm just gonna break it down, because we see that the whole background is white. Even the furniture is white. Now we do have some brown for the legs to just sell the realism that this is furniture, because it wouldn't make much sense to have a white armchair and white supporting legs. That would just look a little weird. So we do have that, and also it blends in. It's pretty seamless. Your eyes will gloss right over it. But since all this empty space exists, you are forced to focus on Lelouch sitting in this chair. A focal point is a very useful design method, element, battle plan, whatever you want to say to make it sound fancy. It is a near flawless, super near guaranteed design principle that will make whatever you're designing work. So you can have any piece, if you just want to put a character in a chair like right here, or if you want to put a character leaning over a bar and make the background very simple, as long as you make the focal point obvious. And even if you're saying while you're designing, oh, this looks super obvious that I'm supposed to be looking at this right here. Listen, this is still a piece of artwork, still well done. This can make money. So it's all about what you use in your designs. Because the space is so empty and vast, and you're supposed to focus on him right here, it kind of gives me a little bit of the Matrix vibes, where Morpheus was explaining to Neo what the Matrix is and everything that he had to go through for that bit of explanation. I forget what the E. It begins with the letter E, but like I said, it's been a long day and I'm drawing a blank here on some of my words. Exposition, there we go. See, I just had to get the word diarrhea out just so I can get the beans and the carrots that are inside it. Anyway, during that exposition scene, it showed that even in that scene, those two characters were the focal point, and this just shows kind of like the possibilities of what you can learn. And I would say that since Lelouch is sitting in this chair, he might be smugly trying to teach you something or have a reveal of something. His facial expressions, now for those of you who've watched the series, you already know who this character is, but even in this design, it sells it that much more. His facial expressions, the fact that he has his eyes kind of like halfway open, smug grin, the one hand to the cheek. And we also see a bit of asymmetry here, because not all of his body is over here, but the most of his body is over here. So so even though this character is perfectly centered, even in his body language, and once you get down, you take away all this, take away the couch, and he's just sitting in midair, you see the body language, and you see that it is asymmetrical, and asymmetrical elements in the design definitely communicate better. It's way more interesting. But like, even with a simple design like this, like I said, the facial expression, his body language tell the story. And that's the main thing what you want to do when you're designing, whether it be a piece of fan art, your own creation, a logo. You know, you have to tell a story. The story does not have to be complex. I just gave you a whole bunch of references about the Matrix, him maybe like, maybe he is facing down his adversary and he's like he's explaining to him. All that stuff you can get just from this whole composition alone. So as long as you focus on telling a story, using whatever design elements in your repertoire, then by all means it can work. And these pros follow these designs. These pros are pros because they've not only followed these designs, but they've mastered these designs, and they've practiced and they've looked to other artworks to see just how they can achieve that goal. So I encourage you guys to, when you're looking at some of these fan art pieces or some of these art promo pieces, really start to break down the design. And then we even see in the color theory of his design. So purple, actually I'm gonna use my good old color picker tool if it wants to work. So this shade of purple, now this is a very deep shade of purple, and it's the contrast with his fair, lighter skin tone. But we even see another deeper shade of purple, or really it's like a red violet. It almost looks black to the, I guess, the untrained eye, or the, you know, well, we're humans and Photoshop is a computer program, so you see right here it's not quite black. But either which way, we see the use of the dark purples, which is a color of royalty. So the reason why it's a color of royalty, because back in the day, in some century of some place in Europe, somewhere before they started using soap to wash their ass, it was very difficult to make the color purple in their clothes and in paintings. So that means it was very rare. So only the royal people could afford to pay for artists or pay for, you know, fashion designer people to make them clothing and things that had purple in it, that had purple dyes in it. Now with Lelouch, because his character, if we, you know, once again, this is just borrowing from my knowledge of the series, it's purple to show signs of royalty, to show signs that he is a leader, but also this darker velvet color, even with the reds, to definitely throw some accent to kind of like break up some of this, because it would not be the same design if it wasn't for this red. Basically using this accent color of red on the inside of the cape really is a nice touch. It's dark because to show that he's also a character that is ushering in anarchy.